Watching YouTube videos on autocomplete interviews, and I want to do something about like this for 3 keywords related to environmental planning or urban planning. So let's start with the most obvious one and most important one when it comes to talking about urban planning. So let's see, urban planning in the Philippines. So urban planning in the Philippines is an emerging subject of interest because of the different um, problems that we are facing because of rapid urbanization and inability to cope by the government and by our populations also. So urban planning in the Philippines is mainly covered by the local government code and the environmental planning profession law that of 2013. Okay, so next, urban planning concepts. So if I would pick an urban planning concept that every urban planner should know, it would be participation. So participation is inherent in the urban planning process. So you can't plan a city just by yourself. You need the local governments, the national government, and of course the vulnerable sectors to be able to plan cities well. Okay. Next, urban planning meaning. Well, the definitions by the environmental planning law makes environmental synonymous to city planning, human settlements planning, town planning, and urban planning. So there you go. Urban planning course. So an urban planning course is something that can qualify you for the board exam so that you can be a licensed urban planner, or in the Philippines a licensed environmental planner. So there are now at least 10 universities in the Philippines that offer programs on urban planning. I have written on this in my article on the environmental planning board exam, primary of which is the urban planning program in UP Diliman on the School of Urban and Regional Planning, and another alternative for those who are busy working and cannot attend face-to-face classes is the Diploma in Land Use Planning of the UP Open University. Okay. So our second keyword is Philippine cities. Okay. So Philippine cities, there are currently 146 Philippine cities, the youngest being the city of Santo Tomas in Batangas. Okay, so how do municipalities become cities? When they satisfy population, land area, and income requirements of the various laws that cover city classification or local government classification. Okay. Philippine cities population. So the most populated cities are Manila, Quezon City, and Davao, if I'm not mistaken. So population in cities is important because it is the influx of population that can drive further urbanization. So the more people you have, the more activities the city has, the more buildings structures, the more roads it needs. Okay, Philippine cities map. Okay, Wikipedia has good graphics on maps, but if you want a city map that is that can be used for land use planning or urban planning, you can check out OpenStreetMap. Okay, so Philippine cities and provinces. I think the uh, concern here is on the relationship between cities and provinces. So right now, I think we have 81 or 82 provinces, and we have the local government code of 1991 introduced the independent cities. So these cities are uh, geographically located in a province but are not administratively covered by the provinces. So they, in simple terms, they can decide on their own. Their only supervisory authority is the national government, and in development, the regional development council. So component cities, on the other hand, are administratively covered by provinces. So they have they must their ordinances must be reviewed by the provinces. Their development plans must also be strictly overseen by provincial governments. Okay, so Philippine cities COVID cases. I think right now we are at 205,000, if I'm not mistaken, and the National Capital Region is still the epicenter of COVID cases, having 16 cities and 1 municipality. So I hope this quarantine, we get out of this quarantine and we have a concrete and solid strategy for mitigating the risks and the impacts of COVID-19 immediately. Last but not the least, we see urbanization. Okay, so urbanization meaning the evidences of urbanization. One being concentration of populations. Second is the concretization of roads. So there will be more built-up areas, and also having higher building densities. So urbanization. Urbanization in the Philippines. I think one highlight of urbanization in the Philippines is that the ADB in study has projected that the 77% of Filipinos will be living in urban areas by 2050, I think, or 2040. So that would be a whole issues. Okay, so urbanization definition, urbanization examples. So examples of urbanization can be seen when an agricultural area becomes a road there. So that's a good example of urbanization. So when or a forest becomes a mining area, because the built-up area would be higher proportion than the non-built-up area. So there you have it. Simple Google autocomplete. So 3 keywords: urban planning, Philippine cities, and urbanization.